Okay, we're all wondering what's going on with LIV. There was a second PGA Tour players meeting, and we really haven't gotten much information out of that meeting other than the fact that, yeah, it's kind of unclear and this and that, and nothing really, let's say, came out from that. So here's what I initially had said was that my position was that LIV was going to disappear and that everybody's going to get rolled back into the PGA Tour, and they were just kind of slowly getting that information out for us so that we can digest it slowly. Well, I've totally reanalyzed my position, and I came up with a new idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new sponsor for the podcast, and this one's going to take just a little level of maturity, but I guarantee you it will be well worth it for every guy out there. Please welcome Manscaped to the podcast, and your balls will thank you. Let's see what we've got in our package that you can order. Leave a link in the video description below for their website. You get a 20% discount using my code MrShortGame, so be sure to check that out. And let's see what we got here on our package. One, we've got some what they call performance boxer briefs. We've got this crop preserver. It's kind of like aftershave for your stuff. This is a crop reviver, lotion, and like aftershave. This would be your weed whacker. You get in here, trim up the little nostril jungle you got going on. Your lady will thank you. Weed whacker right there. This is what they call the lawnmower. We got a little light here for you, so you can get around safely, is what I'm saying. And you get this little baggie too if you get this particular gift basket. They have a number of other products that you and your missus or significant other will thoroughly enjoy. I speak from some experience. People have been asking me why I'm in such a good mood all the time. Well, now you know. Manscaped, 20% discount, link below. Use the code MrShortGame. Now back to the show. I don't think Greg Norman and them are going away. Here's what I think. I think, obviously, you don't have a merger and you don't make a deal without having everything worked out ahead of time. Like, nobody would do that. I've been speaking to a number of business owners, big time corporate business, like board members, you name it. And you don't merge without everything and the details buttoned up. So things are going to get a little sticky. Obviously, there's some Department of Justice and all this kind of little, I don't know, things that got to be worked out. But I think those are already worked out, and we're just waiting for all the kind of ducks to line up. Here's what I think is, one, they got everything worked out ahead of time, and they do want to roll it out slowly so that people can digest it, people meaning everybody on the PGA Tour. The thing is, there's reports that LIV teams, like the Crushers and the Four Aces, those are the teams that these teams are getting major, like, corporate sponsorships, meaning a giant company will come in and, like, for example, the tournament that just happened at the PGA Tour, the Travelers, right? So the Travelers, I'm not saying that it's the Travelers, but like a company like that would then sponsor one of the teams. So instead of sponsoring an event, you're a team sponsor. Like Travelers, the Four Aces brought to you by Travelers, or so they would be, you know, the main sponsor of that particular team on LIV. Many reports of that happening, and they would sign multi-year deals, and so LIV would get a cut of that, and the team would get a large chunk of that corporate sponsorship. So these are things that are being worked out. There's also some huge rumors that a number of people, guys from the PGA Tour, are going to go over to LIV. Like, The rumor was that Jon Rahm was going over and that he was gonna he signed it, like he's in advanced negotiations, is what reports were pre-US Open. And I think he's going to go, to be honest with you. But I think he's waiting potentially for news that Ryder Cup players will be allowed to play on the Ryder Cup if they're on LIV. Like LIV players will be allowed to play on the Ryder Cup team. I think we're waiting on that because obviously the U.S. team would want Brooks Koepka and maybe some other players like Bryson. There's some great players who are playing some really solid golf that you might want to consider having on a Ryder Cup team over some of the current PGA Tour players that are eligible. So they're trying to reconfigure that. I would imagine that's one of the things that will come out shortly. Also, they always said that they want to create, this is what threw me, is that they said they wanted to create a pathway to return back to the PGA Tour. Okay. So we all thought that a guy like Brooks Koepka would say, okay, I don't want to play on LIV anymore. How can I get back onto the PGA Tour? And that they were coming up with that way to come back. Because how do you come back, right? Where do you put yourself? Now, he just won a major championship, so that might be a little easier to figure out because he would have X amount of, let's say, well, he's exempt for a number of years anyways because of the major championship win. So that would be okay. He rolls back in. But what about another guy like Bryson DeChambeau or even, let's say, Ian Poulter? If you wanted, like, how do you reinsert him back on to PGA Tour status? Or whoever else, Mito Pereira. Like, you pick a guy that wouldn't just walk right in. So, but here's the thing. I don't think that's the main issue, right? I think that guys aren't going to want to leave LIV to come back on the PGA Tour. See, that's what threw me. What's going to happen is guys are going to be on LIV and they're no longer going to be eligible to be on LIV. So they're going to need a place to play, and that would be the PGA Tour. Why would they not be eligible on LIV? Because so many people are going to migrate over to LIV to play on LIV that it's going to bump a lot of guys out who came from the PGA Tour. So they're no longer going to be on LIV. So what do? That's where they're going to need a pathway back to the PGA Tour. It's not going to be from the top guys leaving LIV and coming back over to the PGA Tour. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be the lower tier or the middle tier guys who want to come back over, and they're going to need a way to come back in. How do you do it? Think about this. Currently, if you are injured on the PGA Tour, right, you take a major medical leave, then what happens is you leave for, let's say, a year, and you come back. Well, you're given X amount of events to play and earn X amount of money. So they have some calculation and things like that, just to keep it simple. So you get to come back and play in a certain amount of events. And if you make a certain amount of money, you get your tour card for the next year. And so voila, that's a pathway that back to, it's not a pathway back, but that's how you come back from a major medical injury. And so that's what they're trying to figure out. Like, okay, what type of scenario like that do we give the people who are on the PGA Tour? How do they come back? Do they come back in the Korn Ferry Tour and they go through there and they got to re-qualify? That could be an option. Do we give them a certain number of events to play in to earn a certain amount of money and then they come back? Well, that's going to make a lot of current players angry because, hey, they chose to leave. And I agree with that. You leave. If you want to come back, you can't just walk right in. It doesn't work that way. So they would need, I would think they would need to go to a minor league tour, and I would like say, okay, we'll give you status on Korn Ferry, but the LIV management and the LIV board probably isn't gonna like that because of the fact that, hey, they were top players, they had X amount of eligibility and exemptions when they left, and we want them to come back with some type of status. So that's the thing they're working out. It's not going to be the top players. It's going to be the players who are bumped off of the LIV Tour. You're out. You're no longer on a team. You didn't qualify anymore. How do you come back? Those are the details they're working out. And they're going to get the Players Advisory Board probably involved from the PGA Tour, as well as the new board of whatever they're calling it, the PGA Tour Incorporated, whatever that might be. So those are the things they are working out. LIV is not going anywhere, and more players from the PGA Tour are going to want to bounce over there and play on LIV. And I'm also going to make a slight prediction that there will be a scenario in which some players will be able to play both tours. So you will play these LIV events and you will be able to play on these PGA Tour events. That is another thing they're waiting to announce and they're waiting to drop. And I think that will be intriguing. But I'm excited about the fact that I think we're going to have 2 tours of great quality golfers, and there'll be some crossover. There'll be definite crossover for the major championships, and I believe they want to get these top players even into the World Golf Championship events. So that's coming, and then they're going to make it easy to go from the PGA Tour over to LIV. That's going to be simple. You're just going to be able to, if you're invited, you're in. And then it's going to kick a lot of guys out. That's where the pathway back to the PGA Tour is going to come into play. That is what that's what the buzz I'm hearing is. What do you guys think? Do you think that's going to be what it is? Because I guarantee you, I don't guarantee anything. I almost guarantee this. You don't invest nearly $1 billion into a company just to scrub it a year later. You don't do that. You have a plan, and especially when your guy, the head guy, Yasser Al-Rumayyan, gets onto the advisory board of the PGA Tour, he's going to now shut his own creation down? I don't think so. That's not going to happen. It was that pathway back that threw me for a minute, but we figured it out. That's what's going to happen. What do you think? Comment below. Thanks for listening. Good luck out there. Exciting times. See you next time.